What's up YouTube, and welcome to my Essence String character I played during the solo self-harm challenge, casually getting to 99.5 before dying to a bad play. I'm not really sure where to begin, so let's just start with the pros and cons. There isn't really any cons to this build. It's cheap with room to grow. The only bad thing I can think of is our single target, and that it's going to feel somewhat weak whilst leveling. I planned the build around being able to run high tier maps with a tabla. We can run every single map mod, and it's pretty tanky with minimal investments. I chose Iron Will on a bit of a gamble. I've played a lot of Iron Will builds, mostly because I'm a sucker for life regen builds. I chose this tree because I knew defensively it would work. I just didn't know how well Essence Strain would scale with Iron Will, but it turned out pretty good. It's probably the fastest clear speed build I've played. So what makes it so fast? My current setup is a 1.27 attack speed dagger, which is pretty damn slow, but when we combine Whirling Blades with faster attacks, a Silver Flask, and Vol Haste, you'll fly through the maps. With such a slow dagger, however, you probably want to GCP faster attacks and Whirling Blades up ASAP. So basically the build's only requirement is a dagger, preferably with a prefix open, so we can put the Leo mod as damage over time on there. But a very cheap option is Consuming Dark. They're currently going for 2 to 3 Chaos on Prophecy Hardcore, and it's so good for Essence Strain it might as well be our endgame dagger. I actually have it on weapon swap for bosses, along with a spell damage shield. And what makes Consuming Dark so good is that your chaos damage poisons enemies, and poison stacks, which turns Essence Drain to a ridiculous single target. A quick note is that one of the reasons I died is because I didn't have cast when damage taken in Mortal Call set up. The reason for this is that I didn't have room for it. Basically, my options were clear speed versus defenses. This is to say Vol Haste versus Immortal Call. And Vol Haste is insane clear speed. Most of the times I have a 100% uptime on Vol Haste. It's probably obvious why I chose Vol Haste, but with high life regen plus a decent amount of armor, my death was basically the first time Immortal Call actually would have saved me. I ran into this situation at 99.5. That's a lot of maps and situations where I did not need Immortal Call. So can you blame me for not using it? After my death, I tried hard to fit in Immortal Call in my setup, and I just couldn't figure it out. Until I came to realize that I basically never ever used Wither Totem. So I put Cast When Damage Taken, Immortal Call in my shield, and I put Consuming Dark in a weapon swap, and I put Wither Totem in my weapon swap as well, since I would only ever use Wither on certain bosses. So it would only make sense to weapon swap to it along with Consuming Dark to really get that single target going. And while we're still on the map subject, let's talk about map mods. 20 to 40% less regions, no problem at all. 60% less region, Rallying Cry is enough. It's really enough. Just keep Rallying Cry up and you'll have no problems. If you do feel you still have problems, you could swap Iron Will out for a Blood Magic Gem. For no region maps, we will swap Iron Will out for Blood Magic Gem. And these maps kind of suck hard though, since we lose a chunk of our defenses, namely life regen. I'd only really do no regen maps on double pack size maps. Reflect, Equilibrium, and Endurance charges doesn't really apply because we don't deal physical or elemental damage. Some of our defenses and offenses come from dual cursing, so what I would do on curse immune maps would be to swap out my weakest jewel for a Clear Mind jewel and just turn Blasphemy off. Blood Magic maps. I treat these as curse immune maps. Just turn my auras off and swap in Clear Mind. And Feeble maps, no problem at all. The only map mod that gave me a hard time was actually Extra Life. This, combined with Enfeeble, was a complete nightmare. So you definitely want to avoid high Extra Life rolls, especially if it's combined with Enfeeble. So let's have a look at the gem setup. We have Essence Strain, Void Manipulation, Rapid Decay, Control Destruction, Pierce, and Iron Will. So why not slower Proj over Pierce? Well, Pierce and Slower Proc at level 20 have the exact same damage modifiers, even with quality. There's no reason to turn Essence Rain into slow-mo projectiles. However, at lower gem levels, Slower Proc has slightly more damage than Pierce for some reason. Why not Empower over Iron Will? We would actually need a level 4 Empower to make it surpass Iron Will, even with shitty 600 strength. We have Contagion with increased AoE, faster casting. We have Wither with Spell Totem and faster casting. We have Whirling Blades, faster attacks and Fortify. We have Blasphemy with Vulnerability and Temp Chains. We can swap out Vulnerability for Enfeeble on river maps if we want to, since they're both blue. We have All Haste with increased duration. And we have a level 15 Clarity on Blood Magic. And let's just stop here for a brief moment. There's been a lot of hate on me in the past using Clarity on Blood Magic. Everyone's like, just grab Sovereignty, you idiot, and stuff like that. Well, Sovereignty is 6 points away. I would have to spend 6 points into basically nothing so that I could run Clarity on mana. 6 points I could spend on defenses or offense. I've got my Clarity at level 15 because I don't need more, and at level 15 it's reserving 419 life. With a Belly of the Beast after reservation, I still have 6.9k life. Without a Belly after reservation, I'd still have 6k plus life left over. I actually have not tested it, but Righteous Decree might be enough if you really want to run Clarity on mana, and that's only 2 to 3 points. Dodri's Damning is pretty much the only required item for this build, as we need it for dual cursing. I wouldn't recommend Windscream, they're not awful, but Dodris is better, I feel. You could try find an amulet with +1 curses, but would probably want the implicit stats to begin with. The cheaper option is most likely Dodri's Damning. There's also Cosper's Will, but since this is an armor build, we want to focus on armor where we can. It's definitely an option though. Since it's an Iron Will build, we want Strength Roll on every piece of gear where we can. Since it's also an armor build, we want as much armor as we can where we can. A good and cheap starter shield is Lionized Remorse. The only downside is the movement speed penalty and the lack of resist. As for chest piece, I would run a Tabula until we can get a proper 6-link. A Belly of the Beast is a nice choice, and so is Lightning Coil, but personally I'd probably go for an Astral or a Glorious Plate. Alberon's Warpath is a popular choice for Iron Will builds, but I'm not 100% sure they're worth it. I'd probably try get a rare pair with a strength roll and higher movement speed roll. As for gloves, we have Winds of Change, which they're pretty cheap and they're probably best in slot for Essence Rain. There's also Repentance, but I wouldn't really recommend them. It's hard to get a good spell damage roll, and the stat requirements are ridiculous. And being able to replace Iron Will Gem would probably mess up our mana cost and regen big time. Why aren't we using Dune Kyubiari, since it's an Iron Will build? Well, Dune is sadly a maze, and because of that, we can't use Whirling Blades. And Whirling Blades is a huge portion of our clear speed. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I don't recommend Dune for this build. Let's have a look at jewels. On my tree, I pick up 8 jewel sockets, so we have a lot of room for extra life, resist, and stats. Damage types you would be looking for is damage over time, spell damage holding a shield, increased global damage, projectile damage, and chaos damage. Alright, why Scion and not Witch? Well, 3 reasons. Number 1, the tree is more optimal for Scion. Number 2, Profane Bloom. I don't think I have to actually explain why. Number 3, we can only get 50% chance to pierce as a witch, with the potential of hitting up 65% using the Poacher's Aim duel. And as a Scion, we get 80% chance to pierce, with the potential of 95% using the Poacher's Aim. 50% pierce chance feels really bad, and we really want pierce on Essence Rain. And before the Prophecy, we could get 100% chance to pierce as a Deadeye, plus the Pierce Gem, but they nerfed it from 50% down to 30% for some reason, and on my short testing, 80% chance seems to be it seems to be good enough. It's doing its job. It doesn't feel all that bad at all, but 50% feels super bad. Also, why am I not running Righteous Fire with all this massive regen that I have? Well, in short, because I just love the life regen as a defense. I've tried this build using Righteous Fire, but I didn't really like it, and we do have more than enough damage really. And to run Righteous Fire, we need to drop some offensive nodes to grab Sovereignty to be able to run Righteous Fire some of the time. With Righteous Fire, we can't run Vulnerability, Minus Max, or any regen penalties. And these are three map mods that come up very frequently. So if I'm gonna run Righteous Fire, it's going to be really fucking expensive rolling the maps. Alright, so let's have a look at the passive tree for this build. So we want to start out using Firestorm at level 12. We'll level with Freeze Pulse, Fire Trap, usual stuff. So first we want to hit up Harrier because, well, it's pretty good. And what else are we going to grab? We got spell damage, movement speed, cast speed. Pick up the AoE because we need that endgame, and while leveling with Firestorm, these projectile nodes doesn't really benefit us until Essence Drain, and they're pretty shit. So we'll grab these like way late. We'll go through the resist node instead. And at Sentinel we already have 28 all res. Then move on to the life, and then we head up to Templar. You may or may not want to pick up Righteous Decree right now. You definitely want to have it while leveling because of Clarity. Eventually we will be putting Clarity on Blood Magic though. We'll pick up the life, the AoE, some damage, and some more resist. This is damage for now, since we're using Firestorm. So this puts us at like what, 40 all res. At this point we should be around level 31, it's just an estimate. So at 31 we can, if we want to, swap completely to Essence Drain. It's gonna feel a little weak though, and you don't really want to swap to Essence Drain until you're 38, where you can get increased AoE for Contagion. But it's gonna be a lot faster just leveling with Firestorm until like Merciless, Dried Lake, whatever. Jewel sockets, we'll pick those up as we get socket that we need. Maybe we need some stats. It's just 1 point away here, 1 point away here, 1 point away here. So if we need some stats or some extra life or some extra damage, we can just put them in there. And after that we'll move down to Marauder. If we need some more stats, we got Dex Int here. 2 stats we're actually short on while leveling. I kind of forgot to mention we got Ancestral Knowledge and Expertise over here, 2 points away if we need that as well. The reason I want to go down to Marauder here now is because it's pretty close to Diamond Skin. If we need an additional 15 all res, which puts us at 50 or 55 all res, is that right? Like 28, 30, 40, yeah, like 55 all rest just from the tree. And after that, we want to move over to Duelist. And over here we also have Mana Flows, which is going to help us with Clarity, and we also need a lot of intelligence really. Pick up some more damage, life. And after that we want to grab Dirty Techniques. I think it's a good time to pick it up here. We should be around 53, 55, somewhere around there. And after that we'll head over and pick up Tireless and Devotion. You can pick up Devotion a little bit earlier if you want to, if you're feeling a little squishy. It's a little shorter going down this way. It's like 4 points getting Devotion from here and 6 points from here. And once you grab Tireless, you can just move up here and then respec out of this. Because you want to get rid of this in late game, unless you actually need the resists. From there, we'll pick up Barbarism and Juggernaut. So we should be around 65 now. We should be in Dry Lake by now, so we should have found some gear. Decent shield. I can't remember the level requirement of Lionize Remorse. I think it's like level 70. But we should have a decent amount of armor, so we want to pick up Indomitable now. We also want to pick up Armor Mastery. And here's also a good opportunity to pick up the sockets we didn't pick up at first. Just pick up the ones we need. You may want to grab this socket here a little earlier because of the 20 int over here. And like late 70s, 75 plus, late 70, you want to start picking up the life regen. It's really no point picking them up earlier, so we'll grab them now. Grab Shaper and the socket over here. You may want to wait with this one though, in case you want to grab some more life. We got some more regen here. You could grab the other ones instead if you want to. I just really love high life regen, so I usually pick up this one. Don't forget mana flows. Just pick this up whenever you need it to, really. Let's see if we forgot anything. I don't think so. Like 1 point is like one more point, and we're at level 99. So that is the final tree. Ascendancy. We're going for Deadeye and Occultist. I'm not really sure which one's the best to pick up first. One thing I noticed in the self-found challenge was that I constantly did not have enough intelligence. So you probably want to pick up Occultist first, because the damage is gonna feel a little, just a tiny bit bad until you have Occultist. And once you have that, we go down for a Deadeye. We don't really need the piercing until maps, really, so we could grab this Deadeye last. And for the Uber Lab, just grab whatever stats you need, really. Ideally, you want to grab like a 40 strength node and then a passive, but if you need some more intelligence, you could go this way instead. All we're getting is a passive point anyway. Ideally, a strength hybrid, or just a pure strength, whatever stats you need. The Uber Lab is only a passive point anyway.